Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts, like the chart behind me, which is of Plug Power, ticker symbol PLUG. And so here we are looking at the chart on the daily time frame, and we are looking at it during market hours on Thursday, February 29th. Current price is right around $3.62, being up about 5.5% on the day. But, the day is not over, so this number will be changing over the course of the video. And some of the levels that I do point out, might vary depending on where we close at. So do keep that in mind. Also, another good thing to keep in mind is that earnings are tomorrow morning on March 1st, and I will be streaming that. And so that begins at 8:30 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning, Friday, March 1st. So Ed and I will be streaming that, probably starting at about 15 minutes before the stream begins. So make sure you tune into that if you'd like to join, or you can always check it out after the fact. I will put timestamps on it, so you should be able to access the info that you're most interested in. And also, while I do have Chrome up here, I do want to point out that the Max Pain for Plug closing the week tomorrow, March 1st, is $3.50. And so if we do look back at the chart, we are currently above that level, but I do think there is a possibility that we do close Friday below Max Pain, so do keep that in mind. And on the note of the possibility of price going down, I do see some topping signals here. You might be able to point them out, but I do want to go over those just to prepare us before earnings tomorrow. It is quite possible that we do see a turnaround, so I think it's good to brace for that. So before I do put up the drawings, I do want to point out the two highs here from Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. Let's see, on the 27th and 28th, the high for both days was $3.63. And so that is a key level. It would be great for us to get a close above those highs. And currently, with price at $3.60, having hit a high on the day of $3.89.5, it does look like we might be putting in a topping tail, especially if we can't close above $3.63. And so really what that's suggesting is that buyers are not stepping in at these new highs. We're not getting enough momentum to push the stock higher. And so with that, we might be seeing price pulling back. And that could just be because of earnings. Maybe we're waiting to see what the results are before we, load into it. But it also could be that, the stock is just exhausted and that it does need to, cool off before the next rally. And also do want to point out there is a little gap here that was formed between Monday and Tuesday, with the high on Monday being at $3.08. That is quite possibly a level that we will be returning to, so do keep that in mind. But, before I just speculate on the candles here, let's look at some of the levels, some of the drawings that I put up. And so basically these levels I went over in last week's video. I just added this retracement here that's in white, going from the high that was hit on February 1st, coming down to the recent low that we hit on Monday of this week, February 26th. So that retracement gives us some levels that might be acting as resistance to the upside, potentially as support as well. And then also with this yellow retracement here, going from the low that was hit on January 18th up to the high again that was on February 1st. These levels should provide us with some insight into where price might be going. And on that note, the 786 level from this retracement was at a price of $2.87.9, and that almost perfectly marked the bottom that we hit on the 26th. And so the low for that day was $2.83, so just a few cents lower than this level. So that marked what seems to be like a great dip buying opportunity. Also, having broken below $3, opened below $3 on that day, but then closed above, I do think that is significant, as $3 is a psychological level, and then we did gap up the following day. Other levels that do stand out from this retracement, we can see that the 382 did act as towards what looks like a little bit of support here, sideways consolidation before breakdown, but ultimately many of those levels weren't really that useful on the way down, but a number of them do coincide with levels from this retracement, and so I do think that some of those will be significant, such as, let's see, the 50% retracement here at a price of $3.70.1 does seem to coincide pretty nicely with the 382 here at a price of $3.71.2. And we did get a wick above that so far today. Quite possible we do close the day above $3.71, $3.72, somewhere around there. But, with this wick up so far, it does seem kind of doubtful. And it does suggest that that level might be acting as resistance. So what I could see is a pullback potentially to either of these levels, the 618 in yellow or the 236 in white, right around a price of $3.36 to $3.38, somewhere around there. So ideally that will serve as support. And if we do look at the volume profile here, we do have a good amount of consolidation in that range. And so hopefully that will serve as support. But if not, if we do break below right around $3.28.29, where this volume shelf does seem to dip back in, I do think that we could be revisiting $3 a share, or, as I had mentioned, coming to fill this gap here at a price of $3.08. So do keep that in mind. Also, we do have this, speaking of gaps, we do have this blue line here at $2.68, which was not only the high, but also the close on January 19th. So do keep that in mind. Price might be returning to that level. But something that seems compelling to me, may be wrong, maybe this is, going a little too far, but, I do find it compelling that this downtrending level does coincide with not only the low that was hit here on January 18th at a price of $2.26.3, marked by this yellow line here. That does also seem to coincide with this green line here at $2.24. So if I take a step back, we can see where that green line originates from. Actually, I'm going to switch over to the weekly for this. I think that's the best thing to do. That does coincide with highs acting as resistance here. Going back to 2013 before this run up does seem like it was tested as support here as well as over here before breaking lower, and then also resistance again over here. And let's see. Just a number of tests of that level acting as support here again before breaking higher. And so, I do think that history, may repeat itself and that we may be returning to that level right around $2.24, coinciding with, not as long standing as that green line, but pretty long standing support with this white downtrend going back to this touch point here in 2021, the middle of May, which does seem to coincide with lows, as this low was in the middle of May as well, but in 2022. So, I do think that that is a level we might be returning to. It might be right after earnings. It might be a few weeks later. This date would correspond with the middle of March. And so that would be right around March 13th, where all of these lines do cross. So do keep that in mind. Do keep in mind that the close for today does matter. We need to see a close above $3.63 to negate this topping signal that we're starting to see. And if we do close below that level, we do have a nice topping wick here, a topping tail, and that could suggest further downside, either leading up to or following the earnings report. And so I will be covering that tomorrow morning on the channel. So make sure you tune into it. And I will be doing weekly updates on Plug. So I will keep you informed. And so, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks a lot for watching and looking forward to seeing you in the morning. Take care.